Welcome to Colores Latinos TV. As you know, Colores Latinos TV is a bilingual and a monthly program that is being broadcasting in more than 28 local channels around Massachusetts. And also you can watch us in our channel on YouTube. And we just want to say hello to our audience in Europe and Latin America. Today we have a very special topic to discuss. We have 3 guests who are visiting us from Lowell Community Health Center. And we are going to learn about the Team Block program. The Team Block program is, thanks to the Lowell Community Health Center, has a mission to support the healthy development of young people and empower them to become leaders in the community. Also, they work with adolescents to reduce risk behaviors such as pregnancy, HIV, STDs, substance use, and violence. And I just want to welcome our guests today. As you remember, we started a mini-series last month, and we have again Melanie Priestly, who is a program manager. Melanie, thank you so much for being with us today, again here in Colores Latinos TV. Thank you so much. Also, we have in my left, we have Stephanie Buchholz, who is a college and career readiness coordinator. Thank you for being with us. And we have Ruth Ogembo, who is the Teen Pregnancy Prevention Coordinator. Welcome all to Colores Latinos TV.
Thank you.
So we are gonna start asking you how the Team Block started and why.
So the Teen Block started with a few different names in 1988 when a group of concerned adults in the community as well as teens came together around the high child mortality rate that was linked to teen pregnancy and a high teen pregnancy rate in our community. And so they came together first initially around that issue and did more teen pregnancy prevention, and then kind of grew into generally working in youth development, focusing on violence prevention in the different programs. But that's really how it began, is really a lot of organizations and people coming together. And then over time we connected to Lowell Community Health Center and became housed as a department under the health center.
Oh, excellent. And how many programs do you have right now? What all programs do you offer?
So we have about 7 different programs that run throughout the week when the young people come from school. One of them is Adam Project, which is a leadership work skills development program that encourages young people to work hard, graduate high school, and prepare them for advanced education, either college, 4-year degree or associate degree, or prepare them for the workforce. And it also does workshops that focus on business development and micro-enterprise. And another program is called Afrofusion, which focuses on the youth of African descent. So for youth of African descent or any youth who are interested in learning about African culture, where they do different activities focusing on culture, artistic expression, and different enrichment activities. And the goal is to have the young people appreciate culture and diversity in the community, and also empowering them to make informed decisions surrounding their personal identity and cultural shock, dealing with cultural shock for those who have moved here from the African continent. And another one is the Environmental Strategies Working Group, or ESWAG as they call it. And this is our Substance Use and Prevention Task Force. And it focuses on reducing and preventing substance abuse amongst young people or other people in the community in Lowell, but also in surrounding communities. So the goal is to inform and educate young people, the youth, the parents, and the adults in the community about substance use and how it's really affecting our community. And by doing this, they hope to change the policies around in the city that can help reduce the percentage of substance use in the community. And another one is health and wellness. So this one focuses on the health, the body, mind, and spirit, where they focus on activities relating to nutrition, physical fitness, stress management, and they do fun things like yoga. They learn about how to eat healthy and checking nutrition labels and everything nutrition basically. And another one is Journey to Healing, which focuses on the youth of the Cambodian descent. And it offers an opportunity for young people to learn about the trauma that their family members might have experienced during the Khmer Rouge genocide. So it helps them cope with coping skills to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder and different healthy coping mechanisms and family building skills and healthy relationships between parents and the young people. And another program is Youth Reaching Out, which is our violence prevention work group. So for Youth Reaching Out, they work with different agencies in the communities. They partner together and they work to raise awareness of the violence in the community and start dialogue, having a meaningful dialogue and having different activities that really raise awareness about violence prevention in the community.
Wow. Seems like you're having a lot of programs under your umbrella, and you are doing such a great job in the community, because I can hear that you are not just working with teens, but also working with different communities. And that's amazing, especially learning them. They are offering programs for African people, right? And also Asian people. I was wondering if you, in the future, perhaps are you having some kind of programs for the Hispanic community, Melanie, and maybe you can, share with us. Sometimes because Colorado Latinos is for a Hispanic community, but of course it's for bilingual and everybody who are participating in the community. But I would like to engage more Latinos to get involved in those programs, and I think that this is a great opportunity to engage and invite you as a Latino to become part of the community and part of those programs. So I would like to ask you, Melanie, if there is any initiative or something that we can do as a community to begin with a program or to support the community much better?
Sure. Well, again, the Teen Block may be doing some more programming around reaching out to adolescents who are Hispanic. However, in the family planning department, we work closely with the Teen Block, but we also are continuing to run these programs that we have called the charlas, which we talked about at the last segment, which are home parties, mainly geared towards Latino women. However, our outreach educator has started to expand that to working with the adolescents and doing some of these educational programs in the homes for adolescents around everything from reproductive health needs to self-esteem, body image, things like that. So kind of going out into the community and providing these home parties is another type of project that we're working on.
Excellent. And now you mentioned about the pregnancy, then the programs that you have offer some kind of support for prevention in pregnancy, especially in teens. I would like just to ask you that according to recent studies, we just learned that in 2000, the teen birth in Lowell was 63 births per 1,000 women. And in 2009, that dropped to 51 births. In 2010, it reached the 44 births again. So, how the programs are working with the community in terms to prevent pregnancy, especially in teenagers here in Lowell.
I'm going to defer to Stephanie on some of this, but I will just say one piece that I can speak about that we're working on in terms of reducing unintended teen pregnancy is on access to contraceptives through the teen clinic. And we do have a walk-in teen clinic on Tuesday afternoons at the health center. And we also have it on Thursdays. Teens can come at any time to receive comprehensive reproductive health that's confidential and no cost. So it's hopefully increasing access for teens so they have a place to go to seek out, contraceptives, but also to get some education and counseling on healthy behaviors. So that's one of the programs that we're providing to help reduce the, this prevalence of unintended teen pregnancy. And I know Stephanie's been working on some projects around this as well, so around reducing the rates because we have a task force.
Yeah. So Stephanie, could you please, share with us what other things are you providing to the community in order to prevent the unplanned pregnancy?
And also looking at that data, it is really hopeful that it's going down, but when you kind of look at the data a little closely, it's higher for the Asian community and for the Latino community. So while in general our teen births are going down, that is a community that does need services. And we, going back to your last question, we have outreach to certain Latino communities for teen programming. Right now there's nothing active, but there was one happening in the mass housing. We had a group that was all Latino youth that receive the teen pregnancy prevention programming, but we always kind of have on the radar that it is a population that we need to serve better, and are open to suggestions about how best to reach them. And as far as teen pregnancy prevention, I mean, I think access to reproductive health is one of the huge factors in prevention. The reason why in the US our teen birth rates, and in Massachusetts it's gone down, studies show it's not because teens are having sex less often, it's because they're using contraceptives more. And so I think that's a factor that we need to be aware of, is do young people have access that they need to contraceptives? Are they aware of where they can access them? Are parents encouraging them to? And I think that's another factor, is that parents' role in their children's decision making is really important. And a lot of parents think that once their kid's a teenager, they don't listen to them anymore. But studies show that teens still are really looking for parents' input into how to have healthy relationships, and as they kind of maneuver these decisions about becoming sexually active, how to do that, and how to best make those decisions, and how to access resources, whether it's through their pediatrician or reaching out to our family planning department or through the school clinic. The other thing is education that young people need, not only from the schools, but also from their parents at a younger and younger age. We did a study recently to find out what risk-taking behaviors teens were taking, and a lot of people were surprised to see in middle school teens are starting to take some risks. And so sometimes we need to start talking to kids about stuff earlier than we really think we need to be. And parents are really nervous about that, but it doesn't have to be the big conversation. It can really start as much as what's a healthy relationship, and how do you negotiate what you want and don't want to do, and how do you talk about that, and giving kids confidence and being able to make their own decisions. And then the other thing that's really a huge factor is, do young people feel like they have a future that they want to hold off being parents for? And so that's one thing that we do kind of in all of our programming, is really encouraging our young people and helping them keep their eyes on their goals, and helping them have access to the resources they need to be able to move on to college or to a career, and hold off being parents until a little bit later. So those are a lot of, I think, the factors that really affect that. And I think Ruth mentioned, but we do teen pregnancy prevention, not only with all the young people that come to our space, but also out in the community. So our health educators are in 6 or 7 different health classes at the high school, at a few different alternative school settings, as well as in community settings, so at the YW, at UTEC, at Girls Inc. So really trying to bring this information out, and we have been interested in trying to do something with parents to as far as how to talk to your kids, and so it's something that we're open to hearing suggestions about how best to reach parents, because we know parents are very, very busy. So what is a good space for that? So to kind of jump on the Charla kind of model for that.
Yeah, I think that, for example, last time we were, in the first episode, we were talking about the importance of having parents involved on the kids' education, not just at school, but in general, personal. So one of the questions I have, but I think you already answered, is like how parents are getting involved more in the kids' education and prevention for, for example, a pregnancy or of substance use. And I just would like to know, if you are engaging parents, how they are responding, and if you are seeing that is a real fact that are making a difference, not just because you are working with the teams, but also because the family is involved. So I would like to ask you that, like, are you seeing a huge difference when a parent is involved, or do you think that it's going to affect them more when the parents are not involved in the kids' education in general?
I do think there is a big difference when we see parents involved as opposed to not being involved, or having conversations with their kids about relationships as opposed to not hearing anything. And most of the time when we ask teens, what do you hear from your parents? It's either nothing or just one statement they heard about not ever getting pregnant or you'll be kicked out. But it really isn't the details of, like, well, how do I negotiate a relationship? And how do I understand what your ideal is for me, but if I decide to do something, what can I do? And can I talk to you still about it?
I think one other venue that we're kind of going down as well is working with faith groups and parents and faith groups. I know Ruth has done some work with some of the churches, and engaging parents in that regard, is engaging parents through their faith groups. That working with it's not just about working with adolescents, working with the whole family, and it can come from a values perspective as well. And I think sometimes in family planning and some of the other reproductive health models, people think that we're just kind of working with the teens on talking to them, whereas we really try to engage teens both to have conversations with their parents, but we also want to work on the other side of that with parents and how to talk to their teens. And sometimes the faith groups are a good venue for that. So that's just another type of program model that we've utilized, and we are currently, I know Ruth is, again, is doing some of that right now. So.
Okay, and for example, now that we are talking about, the pregnancy, one of the questions I have is, if a teen is she is pregnant, but she doesn't want to talk at school, or neither the parents, what is the recommendation where she can go, for some kind of support and orientation? Because sometimes it can happen. The teens, maybe they don't want to talk to the teacher or the counselor, and neither the parents. So what is a good recommendation for a case like that?
I definitely recommend going to the local community health center family planning department if she suspects that she's pregnant. So really finding out first what's happening so she can be informed earlier on about the options that she has. The other thing is that we are available, I think, as staff to just help someone through thinking about that. And I think you would say about the family planning as well, just to help somebody think through what does this mean and help them share with their parents, because that's going to probably inevitably have to happen. And
medical assistants are also counselors. They've been trained as counselors to do some of that counseling with the teens. If they feel like they can't quite go to their parents yet, but they have some concerns and questions, they all our medical staff have that training to provide. And we also encourage teens, sometimes they can talk to their healthcare provider, their pediatrician. We have not only do we have the medical departments at the community health center, we also have behavioral health services. So there's a clinical team as well. We have clinicians on staff that we can provide referrals to for teens as well. So there are many resources available at the health center as well as even in the schools. And for example, we have at some of our high schools, we have a school-based health center with trained staff to work with adolescents on these issues if they're suspected, a pregnancy is suspected, or if they have other concerns. And they also have a social worker at the school, in the school-based health center that can meet with the teens as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing with us about that, especially the important thing about the clinical part, right? And you mentioned that there is a staff being training and already trained in the schools, and the kids can talk to them. So I think it's important for the kids to understand that they have a lot of support, not just at school, but also at the community health center or the provider, as you mentioned, with the pediatrician. They can talk to the pediatrician also, right? Now about substance use, what other programs do you have? What, let's say, outreach are you doing in the community in terms of prevention for substance use?
So our environmental strategies working group, they do some events in the community, and one of the big events is the town hall meeting, which happens in the spring of every year. And it's a big community event, which is depending on the theme that they choose that year. It's really raising awareness, where they invite everybody from the community, parents, young children, and the young people. And it's put on by the young people. They come up with the different games and the different educational materials that they'll be providing for the event. So they do stuff like that, community events, but they also go on to the Department of Health, for example, the young people, and raising issues depending on what they have seen happening in the community, or what changes they would like to see happening in the community to prevent young people from using or accessing alcohol or tobacco products. So it's either going out to the stores to find out where is the alcohol placed? Do they have, the cigarettes, the advertisement when you go to the store? Is that the first thing that the young people see? Or when you're walking outside a convenience store, is that the first thing that you see? And making sure that, if businesses do sell those products, they are already placed either in the bag or away. They're not, the first thing that you walk in, you see, or the first thing that you see when you are walking by the store. So they have different strategies like that they try. And they also do educational, really. They go to the high school, there is awareness within the school about the challenges or the consequences of using substances. What would that mean for you? Let's say a young person is using, drugs or alcohol, and tobacco products right now, in the future, what impact that will have on your health, really educating young people to understand that it's not just now, but there is a future and there is consequences to the decisions that they make now.
Have you seen any difference of, let's say, what is the outcomes and that you can share with us about is that specific program, like prevention of substance use? What is the outcomes that you can share with us, like a remarkable difference for teens to have that information?
I think because of the strategies that we're using, it's a long-term change that we haven't been able to measure yet. There is a survey that's done with the high school every 3 years that is specifically looking at behavior of young people. But I think that takes longer to see those outcomes, and especially the environmental strategies, like making sure that our young people will do compliance checks at liquor stores and at bars to make sure they're not selling to underage young people. So it's going to take a long time to see, is this really changing the culture of our businesses around what they're offering young people and abiding by the law in that way. So I think that's just one piece of a much more complex picture of how to prevent substance abuse.
I agree with you, but I think it's important at least to have information and share with our teens what programs we have in the community, because sometimes people they don't even know those programs are there and they don't even know how to access those programs. And now that I mentioned about accessing, because you mentioned 7 programs if I remember. So what is the best way for our teens or our community to reach those programs and to participate in those programs?
So the best way, our programs are free, and it's anybody, the young people we serve between the ages of 13 and 19-year-olds. So they are free to walk in. They can just walk in and check out our programs, or walk in and say, I want to become a member of the Teen Bloc. And we do different outreach activities, events, mostly at the high school, trying to recruit young people. And if they see us at the high school, it's walking up to the table to see like, hey, what's going on? What do you guys offer? And how can I get there? And we are located on 161 Jackson Street on the 2nd floor. So young people are already welcome to come anytime. Or parents who have young people within that age range, they are welcome to either give us a call or they can walk in to the same place and ask for more information or bring their young people. It's really trying to get the word out that everybody is welcome and it's free.
I think you mentioned something very important, that programs are free and parents and kids can reach you. So that's very important, because sometimes perhaps kids they don't want to do they don't want to give the first step, but sometimes parents are having some very stressful and challenging situations with kids. And I think that this is a great opportunity for parents to know that we have those programs and you can access them. You just can walk into the Lowell Community Health Center and ask for those programs, and have better ideas or solutions or support in terms of educating kids about prevention and substance use or pregnancy, also HIV and STDs, as we talked about in the last episode we have. And I just would like to ask you again, if you have a phone number and a website, then we can use to have more information.
So our phone number is 978-322-8949. That's the Teen Bloc direct number. And our website is the Community Health Center's website at www.lchealth.org. That's the health center's website, where they can be able to access the Teen Bloc, the different departments, and the Teen Bloc is one of them.
Thank you so much. And as you know, when we are having those important topics, the time flies, and it's almost the end of this conversation. And I can't believe that we are having such a great programs, and we don't have enough time to discuss each program as we would like. But definitely, we are going to invite the Lowell Community Health Center for our 3rd episode. And I just want to ask you, what is the best way to prevent? And what is the best way to prevent and unplanned pregnancy, substance use? What do you recommend to the community before we close this episode? Because I think this is a very important topic, and we need to know, what steps kids and parents need to know in order to prevent.
I think for parents, communicate with your children often and early, and find out what resources are available in the community, and Maybe if your child isn't comfortable talking to you, identify an aunt or uncle or family friend who can maybe be that person and who they'd be able to talk to, as well as find out what resources are available for your child and give that information to them. And for young people, similarly, talk to your parents if you can, because it is really important to hear their views. Think about your future and what is it that you want in life, and hold off being sexually active or having a child until you're really ready, and think about it as what you're ready for and not be pressured by somebody else to do something. And use, if you're planning on being sexually active, use contraception, condoms, and a long-term birth control method. So I think all of those things are, and stay abstinent, if you can. So
Well,
that's the message.
do you want to say something before we close?
Amen to that. That's exactly all my thoughts. Exactly. I think Stephanie really hit the nail on the head with all those different aspects. Are very, very important. And going back to the first thing she said is communication. Whether it's communication, parents to children or children to parents, or if it's a teen and they don't feel comfortable communicating, find an adult that you can communicate with and ask the questions to. It's really important to have those conversations before making some decisions that could affect your life forever. So
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the information you bring today to us. I think that we are short in the conversation, honestly, because we have so much to discuss, and you have so much to offer to the community. But I just want to thank you again for being with us here in Colores Latinos. So I'm just going to thanks again to Melanie Priestly. I'm going to thank Stephanie Buchholz and Ruth Ogembo, who were with us today in Colores Latinos. If you wanna participate in Colores Latinos, or if you have a question regarding to this topic or other topics, you can write us to coloreslatinostv@yahoo.com. Also, you can find us in Facebook and in YouTube. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Part of the ensemble, Don Edilio Paredes. He is a legend of bachata music and considered the creative force in creating the bachata guitar sound. He's also going to be joined by Andre Veloz in a music that had traditionally been dominated by males. She is a rising star, a female singer of the first order. This was a music that was not considered proper for girls of good breeding to sing, but as we all know, all sorts of things are changing as regards what is proper and what belongs to the men. So please welcome the bachata legends, Trio Amargue, con Don Edilio Paredes and Andre Veloz.
vida tan hermosa como la mía, bañada por los mares de blanca espuma, parece una gaviota de blancas plumas, dormida en las orillas del ancho mar. Quisqueya, la tierra de mis amores, de suave brisa, de lindas flores, del fondo de los mares, la perla querida, Quisqueya, divina. En mis cantares, linda Quisqueya, yo te comparo como una estrella, la estrella solitaria que alumbra mi vida, me brinda su luz. En mi viejo San Juan, cuántos sueños forjé en mis noches de infancia, me canto canción y mis cuistas de amor son recuerdos del alma. Una tarde partí hacia extraña nación, pues lo quiso el destino, pero mi corazón se quedó frente al mar en mi viejo San Juan. Adiós, 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 Morenque querido, tierra de mi amor. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar, mi reina del palmar. Me voy, ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan. Pero el tiempo pasó y el destino burló mi terrible nostalgia y no pude volver al San Juan que yo amé, pedacito de patria. Mi cabello blanqueó y mi vida se va, ya la muerte me llama y no quiero morir alejado de ti, Puerto Rico del alma. Adiós, 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 Morenque querido, tierra de mi amor. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar, mi reina del palmar. Me voy, ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan. A buscar mi querer, otra vez en mi viejo San Juan.
¡Bravo!
Muchísimas gracias. ¿Qué hace el niño cuando viene al mundo? Llora. ¿Qué hace el ave que perdió su nido? Llora. ¿Qué hace el enfermo que perdió la esperanza de volver a sanar? ¿Qué hace el hombre si me doble piega un pedazo de pan? ¿Qué hace el bardo y se va a su amada? Llora. ¿Qué hace el que te muere su madre? Llora. ¿Qué hace el ciego que quisiera y no puede ver el mundo brillar? ¿Qué hace el hombre si el tirano le niega su fe y su libertad? ¿Qué sentirán aquellos que ríen cuando miran al humilde caer? Lo humillan y luego lo maltratan peor que un animal. Eso es lo que no entiendo, que al Divino Supremo quisiera preguntar. ¿Por qué tú lo permites? Dios mío, si somos todos del mismo material. Yo soy de carne y hueso y llevo aquí en mi pecho también un corazón. Y creo que la sangre que corre por mis venas no es de otro color. Yo culpo al ignorante que olvida que su madre lo obtuvo con dolor. ¿O acaso es que se olvidan que Cristo aquí por todo su sangre derramó? Eso es lo que no entiendo, que al Divino Supremo quisiera preguntar. ¿Por qué tú lo permites? Dios mío, si somos todos del mismo material. Yo soy de carne y hueso y llevo aquí en mi pecho también un corazón. Y creo que la sangre que corre por mis venas no es de otro color. Yo culpo al ignorante que olvida que su madre lo tuvo con dolor. ¿O acaso es que se olvidan que Cristo quiso por todo su sangre derramó? ¿O acaso es que se olvidan que Cristo aquí por todos su sangre derramó? Muchísimas gracias. Ahora que yo no te quiero, dices que por mí te mueres. Ahora que yo no te quiero, dices que por mí te mueres. No sabías que con el tiempo se cambiaban los papeles. No No sabías que con el tiempo se cambiaban los papeles. Es bueno que tú comprendas cómo es que el engaño duele. Es bueno que tú comprendas cómo es que el engaño duele. A ti mismo tu brilló cuando estaba entre tus redes. A ti mismo tu brilló cuando estaba entre tus redes. Hoy vienes con el cinismo a decirme que me quieres. Hoy vienes con el cinismo a decirme que me quieres. Como si yo no supiera la persona que tú eres. Como si yo no supiera la persona que tú eres. A decirme que me quieres, hoy vienes con el cinismo. A decirme que me quieres, como si yo no supiera la persona que tú eres. Como si yo no supiera la persona que tú eres. Y si tú quieres jugar, debes comprarte un juguete. Y si tú quieres jugar, debes comprarte un juguete. Déjame vivir en paz, por donde llegaste vete. Déjame vivir en paz, por donde llegaste vete. Por lo hipócrita que eres, mi perdón tú no mereces. Por lo hipócrita que eres, mi perdón tú no mereces. Por eso a ti no te quiero aunque en el alma me pese. Y doy gracias al Señor que cambiaron los papeles. Por eso gracias a Dios que cambiaron los papeles.
Hello everybody! Hello! How are you doing? So grateful that the sun came out, and I hope we still have more good weather for the rest of great musicians we are going to be having here at Lowell's Festival. And before we start, or before I start, I want to thank the festival for supporting folk music. This is priceless, I think. This is such a wonderful event. So, a very big round of applause for that team. Si me matan o me muero de algo, yo quiero que llueva, haya mucha agua, porque yo no quiero que se manche el suelo. Yo quiero que llueva y haya mucha agua, porque yo no quiero que se manche el suelo, porque yo no quiero que quede el amargo de ese veneno que tú me has dejado. Todos esos años, mi vida marcada con ese veneno. Tú eres mi mucha agua, porque yo no quiero que se manche el suelo, porque yo no quiero que quede el amargo de ese veneno que tú me has dejado. Todos esos años, mi vida marcada por ese veneno. Tú eres un veneno, tú eres un veneno, tú eres muy bonita, tú lo tienes todo, pero eres veneno. Yo llevo en mi sangre una pena ardiente que nos ha salido todos esos años, sigue aquí presente. Tú eres un veneno, tú eres un veneno, tú eres muy bonita, tú lo tienes todo, pero eres veneno. Thank you. A big applause for the dancers. So we're gonna go on with a song called Pena por ti. Hope you enjoy it. Pena es lo que siente mi alma, porque esa mujer no es I want a very big applause for el maestro, el único, Emilio Paredes. One of the founding fathers of bachata, a living legend. Joel Guzman, the percussion. That's a superhero sitting there. And in the bass, from Wisconsin, A. Cibao, Mr. John El Gato Chapman. Come here. He's so Dominicanized now. So Dominicans, we skip a lot of S's for some reason. So instead of ¿Cómo tú estás? We say ¿Cómo tú estás?
Yeah.
So, John, ¿cómo tú estás?
Ratata.
And that's our slang for good. The next song is called Stray Kisses, Besos Callejeros, and it's from a Puerto Rican singer called Blancairis Villafañe. So if you're Puerto Rican, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you're not Puerto Rican, we hope you enjoy it too.
Yo me siento muy feliz. En la otra vida, que es la que llaman la buena, yo sufrí mucho y por eso la cambié. Ya no me importa que me digan que soy mala. En esta vida yo me siento muy feliz. En la otra vida, que es la que llaman la buena, yo sufrí mucho y por eso la cambié. Ahora me culpan mis amigos porque ignoran lo sufrida que yo he sido por ser buena. Yo solo sé la amargura que se pasa siendo buena y que te culpen de mala. Yo solo sé la amargura que se pasa